Hi everyone, this is the sermon summary for the sermon on John chapter 7 that I gave on Sunday. And really we kind of picked up where last week left off in John chapter 6. The big question then was if Christianity is true and good news, then why do so few people believe in it? And particularly in John chapter 6, the focus was on why do some people seem like Christians and then turn away? But then in John chapter 7, the focus is much more on why we see such a divided response, like it says in verse 43 of that chapter, when it says that thus the people were divided because of Jesus. Well, Jesus shows us in this chapter really why that is, and through John, the writer, the Holy Spirit is exposing the hearts of the people that have this divided response to Jesus. So we see a few different responses exposed. We see Jesus' brothers who seem quite keen on Jesus as a miracle healer, but actually the Holy Spirit reveals that they did not believe in Jesus, verse 5. And that's because they were motivated not by faith in Jesus, but by worldly ambition. We can see that in our families as well, maybe, and you might want to talk about that. Secondly, Jesus exposes the motive of fear. When the crowds are whispering, some kind of sympathetic to him, some hostile, but all whispering because of verse 13, which says that no one would say anything publicly about him for fear of the leaders. Even those who are sympathetic don't have the kind of public faith that Jesus is calling for. And often that sort of secret faith or secret sympathy to Jesus is motivated by fear in our hearts. That's what the Holy Spirit reveals through these words. The third response that's revealed really by Jesus' conversation is one of hatred in the religious leaders. He asks why they're trying to kill him. And he shows that their desire to kill Jesus because of thinking that he's broken the Sabbath law is totally illogical. It's not motivated by genuine love for God. It's actually motivated by hatred. But the clever thing is that they can cover up that hatred by calling it zeal or calling it sort of being uncompromising and that kind of thing. And we can see people who like to maybe give the impression that they're zealous, that they're uncompromising on the truth, but actually in their heart, this chapter is saying sometimes that is motivated not by love for God, but by hatred of other people and a divisive spirit. The next response is one of willful ignorance, and here it's people sort of not really bothering to get the answers to their questions, particularly in verse 27 when they say, we know where this man is from. When the Messiah comes, no one will know where he is from. Well, why do they think that? That doesn't seem to appear in the Old Testament. It seems like they've got these preconceived ideas about Jesus, and they're not willing to ask Jesus to sort of clarify things for them. They just live with that willful ignorance. And the final example is the Pharisees, who are self-righteous. Verse 49, they say, this mob that knows nothing of the law, there is a curse on them. And again, often people's hostility to Jesus can be because of a sense of self-righteousness. Everybody who's anybody knows that Christianity isn't true or whatever it might be. And so the encouragement for us really is to realise that there are all kinds of the complex things going on in people's hearts like this, in others' hearts when we share with them about Christ, and also in our own hearts sometimes as well. So an encouragement really to look beyond the surface of what's going on and realise that what we might like to think of as sort of intellectual objections is actually moral objections. So that would be good for you to think about in your groups what that might look like. But the real centre of hope in this passage is Jesus' wonderful invitation in verse 37, where he says, let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. Perhaps you'd like to think about what it means for us to be thirsty as human beings, and what it means to have that thirst quenched when we come to Jesus. Particularly, Jesus says that it's through the Spirit being given to us that happens. So I hope you have a good discussion. Thanks.